If you wish to save the world, save yourself in terms of finding yourself. Because the greatest tragedy on earth can be success if you become lost in the effect of success. Past is past. The future's not our business. Our business is now, and in the now, only watch. I learn more from the silence between Swami's words than I learned from words.
You started off by talking about your strong faith in Jesus Christ, and you are wondering why you were not there when he was there and you're 2,000 years too late. Do you feel, looking back, whether there is any difficulty in your being a good Christian and yet having perfect faith in Swami?
No, I don't find any difficulty in that at all. Because if one would only look at the teachings of Jesus Christ and compare them to the teachings of Swami and recognize there are many roads, but they all lead to the same destination, how could there be any contradiction when the message is love? So I find no problem whatsoever. But if you were to ask me if I was a religious man, I'd tell you that I seek to be totally open, totally silent, able to listen, and I don't find that in any ritual or practice. So if ritual and practice is defined as religious, and I don't know what the word spiritual means, but if that's the other, then let's say I'm the other, with the deepest possible respect for those who practice ritual, because that's what got me here.
In fact, as Swami says, rituals are a stepping stone to a higher realization. When rituals fall apart, wither away, and you are left alone with your consciousness and face to face with God, you become a witness.
Realization, enlightenment, and witness, we as humans fantasize everything. This is not something we do, but something that happens naturally, as if we were like an Alka-Seltzer put in a glass that it effervesces by itself. So I suspect that a lot of the effort tends to get a bit in the way, and a lot of the silence that develops within an individual, if they don't resist it, opens and may in fact be the way. That's what I find here. That's why I make the pilgrimage. And that's why if I have the ability to hear Swami's words, definitive to anything I'm doing, then I assure you that I would do nothing else but that. And Swami doesn't speak in poetry, although a lot of us tend to look into the deeper and more complex meanings.
I agree.
Absolutely simple, absolutely straightforward, and never to cause us pain or suffering, but only to prevent pain and suffering. And if they do occur, as they do in everyone's life, understand, even if you have no idea, mentally, intellectually, or otherwise, when I say understand, what I mean is accept. Because what other choice do you have? I mean, leaning emotionally against an event is like running your head at a stone wall at 200 miles an hour.
Not very good for the
Not
head.
practical in the least. What can I do to make something undone? I can't. But understand, in life, there is no second chances. There are no do-overs. So tell the people you love that you love them. Not by words necessarily, although that's nice, but by thoughts and by actions. Because you may not get a second chance. treat people equally and treat all people as if they were your family.
Well, let me put to you a question which was asked of me many years ago, since this was asked by a businessman. And I was just saying, this is a small group in an overseas country. He said, you should see God in everyone, you should see Swami in everyone. He said, hey, mister, you don't know a thing about business. I'm a businessman. When I go to Swami, I give everything free and I fall at his feet and do Pad Namaskar. You don't expect me to do that with every customer, do you? I'll go broke.
Well, you won't go broke if you don't cheat your customers.
Exactly. That's what I told him. I said, mister, nobody's asking you to give things free. Swami's name, what? What's Swami's name? Satya. Be honest. Be truthful. Don't take your customer for a ride.
Give them the best product at the best price.
Don't take him for a ride.
And make a profit. If you have a contract, don't look at it as the beginning of a war, but as an agreement of honor. And if that agreement of honor costs you money, pay the money. Don't resort to law. Resort to talking it out. If it becomes something that can't be resolved, try arbitration. There are many good arbitration groups. Make an agreement with your partner that benefits your partner. My success is because I've made everybody else richer than myself. And I've had reversals in business with people. But even with the greatest reversal I ever had, I remember the good times I had with this person. Now, I won't do business with them anymore, but I'd certainly look forward to breaking bread at a meal because I had some very good times with them.
Supposing somebody in America who has never heard of Swami and who is obviously not a devotee would ask you, tell me, who is this Sai Baba whom you go to see very often? What would you say to that person?
Well, bear in mind that it's not my job to bring souls to Swami.
No, not that way. He's just asking you a question.
Well, very recently, an ex-business partner of mine asked me about someone he respected who said that Swami was Jesus Christ. And my answer is that Swami is something wholly individual and different. And that if you have an interest in knowing the answer to this question, I'm not exactly the right person to ask. Ask him. Our job, if anything, is only to welcome those Swami calls. But how can I explain to some other person what Swami is when I don't have the slightest idea? Nor does anyone else, for that matter. If I was to write a book on everything I knew about Swami, it would be 1,000 blank pages because I can only listen. So the answer is simple. If you're interested in who and what Swami is, there's a plane. Go. Because taste and see. The only job that we would have, if there is any job, and I'm not sure there is, would be to be welcoming and assisting, just in possibly attitude to the person who wants to find Swami. Swami doesn't need us for anything. What in the history of all the avatars ever took such a deep interest in the little lives that we live? They were generals. They were warriors. Their battles were on massive scales, millions of troops. Here's divinity in humanity, walking among us, comforting us, guiding us, teaching us, and finally saying, there is no difference between you and I except one. I know who I am, and you're going to find out who you are. This is something that is so real, so ethical, so upfront, that if you simply won't make a great human miscalculation and simply accept what's standing in front of your eyes, you have everything to gain and absolutely nothing to lose.
You mentioned you were wondering why Swami is so going out of the way to be so nice to us and help us and something of that nature. I don't know whether I'm recalling your exact words, but I'm using that as an excuse to recall something else. Some years ago, Swami was in Bangalore, and he visited a center and he gave a discourse, and I was present there. He revealed a great secret, and he said, God does not need anything because everything is already His. God incarnates so that people start remembering God, otherwise they forget God. And when God comes in human form, people try to come and offer this and that. I don't need anything, but I allow you to offer so that it benefits you. Some people are very insensitive, so Swami goes out of the way to say, would you be so nice as to do this for me? So that's also an opportunity. So I come in order to give opportunities for you to become a better person and redeem your life. That is the only reason.
He comes and gives us everything we need until we get to the point of the openness.
That's right.
To accept what He's come to give us.
That's right, that's it.
And He gives us comfort when whatever the mechanics of this life are, call for disappointment, shock, or tragedy. He carries us through these. But it's up to us to simply accept. I can't save the world. The world doesn't want to be saved. But I certainly can cease harming. I can certainly shut up and listen.
The way I should say, discipline myself is to say, if I start thinking, I will have pain and pleasure. If I stop thinking, but feel in the heart, there is no pain, there's no pleasure, there's only quiet and happiness.
Then you found whatever divinity is.
Yes.
And if you simply allow that to grow.
That's the point. We should make it sustain, not just come in fits and starts.
No, the fits and the starts are the thoughts. The silence is the reality. We believe in the unreal, and we don't have faith in the real. If we simply turn that around a bit and have not faith in Swami, but seek the faith of Swami, then the infinite possibility that we all are will emerge in whatever way it should.
You said faith in Swami and faith of Swami. How do you make a distinction?
The faith in Swami is the belief that Swami will do something for us.
Mm-hmm.
The faith of Swami is recognition that I am divine.
So I would like to let you have, as they say, the last word. What is the last thing you would like to say to our listeners before we sign off?
That everything I've said is probably wrong.
I doubt very much.
And that everything that can be conceptualized lies within the human experience and is ignorance.
That I agree.
And therefore, less words, more silence. Less looking, more acceptance.
Silence of the mind.
Silence of the mind can start with silence of the mouth.
Oh, that's true.
Do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what goes in the mouth that creates something. It's what comes out of it. Simply start by watching your words. Start somewhere. Start wherever you are. And let the rest take care of itself. In business, in life, in what you might call religion or what you might call spirituality. Don't waste a whole lot of time seeking to change yourself because the effort is, I'm 63 years old, I've been trying to change myself for the longest period of time, I'm exactly the same person. Recognize there's something here which is a treasure. Recognize you don't have to be here to receive it. But it's wonderful to be here. Recognize that this is a place of pilgrimage, that you come to and you leave. And when you leave, you're going to leave better. If you come here loving Jesus Christ, you're going to leave loving Him more. In all religions and all persuasions. That's the gift of Swami. But even more than that, the answer is here. But it's not intellectual. if you're seeking an answer, then I strongly recommend that you come here and seek silence.
That's very nice. Thank you, sir, for spending so much of your time. More than that, I have learned many things. And the first thing I've learned is I should speak less. But I will not stop before I say thank you and express my gratitude to you on behalf of all of our listeners. Please do come again.